This is what we're going to do this morning. Okay, some cables, some rib. Now this is half of a hat. It's only 60 stitches. I'm using baby weight yarn. So if you're doing it in one, you could do it in one piece, you'd need 120 stitches. Because this is only 60. Because that's what my machine has on at the current time. So you're going to cast on your rows, knit. Let me see how much I need to knit, and we're going to convert them into the rope stitch. Okay, so you're going to knit 8 rows. I'll be back when that's done. Okay, just close cast on and knit 8 rows, and I'll be back. Okay, with the pattern I've created, I need to work on some cables. I've got my band done, and what my cables call for is 2 rows, then I start the cable. So I just knit 2 regular rows. I have not and will not change my row counter. That's 1. And 2. Whoops. Oh, I got a latch. All I'm doing is lifting the carriage up a little bit and pushing the latch back underneath it. And then continue my knitting. Then I don't drop a stitch. Okay, now the next row is the row that the cable is going to go on. So I'm going to take the key plate 2 out of the machine and put in key plate 4. I'm doing this because it makes doing the cables a lot easier. So I do 1 row for the cable, 1 row, knit. Now I have several cables I'm going to be doing on this row, and I'm going to do it a different way each time so you can see different ways of doing it. Okay, I'm putting a cable on these 3, and they're a 3x3 cable. So I pull off the 6. Now this is just a homemade garter bar. Okay, so I take those 6 and I pull them off. Make sure my latches are open. Now I'm holding the needles steady so they don't go anywhere on me. And I lift up and come over and rehang these 3 onto the beginning needles. Now I hold these stitches onto the tool and then push these stitches onto the machine. Okay, that's half your cable. Then you bring it up and move it over to the other side and move that onto the cable, onto the machine. That is one way of doing a cable. Okay, now the next cable, you can do it using a 3-prong tool. And this one is, let's see, that one, and skip 2, 4, then I do 6 here. I take these 3 off. Just let it hang there. Then I take these 3 off. Now if you've got a 3-prong tool, if you've got 2 3-prong tools, it's easier if you use those. Okay, get the latches open, and then bring the right tool over to the left side and hang it. Now you got to hold the left tool up so you don't drop the stitches. Okay, then take the needle off, push them back so you can work with it, and pull. Now I'm pulling it fairly tight, and put it back on. Okay, now that's 2 ways of doing it. if you only have, excuse me, 2 of these, you can still do the cables. Okay, so we skip 4 and then 6. But what you have to do, take off these 3 onto one needle and just let hang there for now. Take these 3 off onto a second needle. Then just hang that one over next door to it. We'll come back to it. Now hang the first stitch, rehang the first stitch on that needle onto it, then the second, and then the third. And then just do the same thing over here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now I'm at row 15. Row 16 is the one that's getting the cable. So I change key plates to key plate 4, and I knit the row. That way I get a longer stitch on the row that I'm putting the cable at. Okay, and that one did not stitch, so I stitch it. Okay. Now, what I have this needle selector that I created. It's polymer clay with cotter pins. So I move this so that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then I clip 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I fill in these. I need 6. So that is. I have a video on how to create that one, so 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to put a clip. Now, I know I missed 2 in the beginning, so then that one's not downloaded. There's my 6. Hang on. There we go. Okay, then I miss 2, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so those are the ones that get in cables. Okay, and I have a drop stitch over here that I need to rehang. It's getting ready to drop it. Okay, now if you want to use the garter bar, you can do it one at a time, or you can do several of them. I'm going to show you how to do several of them. My bar is not long enough to do that last row on there, so I'm going to take these off. I'm just taking the 6 off that I have extended for the cable. Now I have those 6 on the machine. Okay, now I don't want my needles to move around a whole lot, so I am putting a block on it, and that'll hold these in place. Okay, get my yarn out of the way. Now I'm going to open it up in such a way that it opens up the latches on all the needles that I'm working with. Okay, so now I move down so that these 3 are on there, and that should put the others in the right position also. Okay, so get these 3 off, making sure you don't lose the other ones. And these 3 off. And these 3 off. Now these 3 didn't hook up real well. One, two, three. Okay, those 3 get back onto the machine. These 3 get back onto the machine. And I think I just dropped a stitch. Yep. No worries. I'm going to fix that before I go any further, because I don't want these stitches to come out. And sometimes it's easier if you use a latch tool to pick them up. And I'm picking them both up at the same time. And I'm just going to hook them on here, and I'll worry about them in a moment. Okay, so then I come back over here, pull it over to the left until I can get those 3 on. Then I push them off. Okay. And now I gotta get these 3 on and push them off onto the needles. Now sometimes you might have to use, sometimes it's easier just to use the tool to slide them over. Okay, and these 3. Okay. Now you want to go ahead and, let's see, so that one gets hooked there. And there being the okay, that one gets hooked onto this stitch. Where's my other one? That this work. Just do what you can to get it over onto the needle. Okay. Now I just get these 3. And that's how you use the garter bar to do your cables. Okay, and the pattern is 4 rows of knit, then 1 row of cable, all the way up until you reach row 53. And I'll be back at that point.